city is a monolith of glass and gray, indifferent to the pulse of my internal fray. I walk the intersections of a geometric doubt, searching for the person I am meant to be about. Is this the self screaming through a holy narrow crack, or just the psychic static that refuses to pull back? The psychiatrist offers a prescription of the numb, while the spirit is vibrating like a low and ancient drum. I am a melodramatic fool with a fragmented soul, trying to make a masterpiece of the parts I can't control. The piece is just a fable for the simple and the sane, while I curate the features of an intellectual pain, locked behind the silver bars of a consciousness unsteady, watching for a revelation that is never quite ready. I sought the sanctuary in the chemistry of sleep, but the obsessions are the only things I'm allowed to keep. Transcendence is a mountain that I cannot seem to climb, when I'm tethered to the neurotic ticking of the time. The noise is in the marrow, the noise is in the bone. In a metropolis of millions, I have built a cell alone. Neither the science nor the face can touch the hidden light of a seeker who has lost the map in the middle of the night. My neurosis is the doctrine, my neurosis is the law, the only authentic version of a spiritual flow. Accept the instability, accept the jagged view. There is no after, and there is no new. I inhabit the agitation, I inhabit the stew of the watcher, the dreamer, the melodramatic fool. The application for a moment of relief was denied, on the grounds that the suffering hasn't been certified. I filed a complaint about the texture of the air, but the clerk said my anxiety was a common sort of wear. I am productive in the morning, but I'm twitching by the noon. In the administrative silence of a high and white-walled room. The shrink and the sinner have both closed their doors, leaving me to navigate the sterile gray floors. I am complaining of everything and nothing at all, in the bureaucrat rhythm of a long and narrow hall. My neurosis is a dead file, my neurosis is a bore, a technical adjustment to a catastrophic sore. The system doesn't recognize the tragedy of me, just the deviation from the socialized decree. Am I paranoid by nature or by official design? Following the trajectory of a calculated line. The authorities of mercy found my story far too long, a tiresome nation of a very common song. I am trapped in the stasis of a pending kind of state, between the institutional mercy and the institutional hate. Check the signs of the vital, check the heat of the skin before the erasures of the person begin. I am a footnote in a ledger that no one's gonna read, a documented version of a catastrophic need. Stay in the bedroom, stay in the wake. The verdict is a vacuum at the edge of the gate. I am the administrator of my own private doubt, with no one left to tell me what the protocol's about. The pipes are sweating rust in the basement of the mine, and I'm losing all the colors that I'm supposed to find. The suburb is a pressure cooker, and yeah, it's thick and stale, and my grip on the reality is starting to grow pale. I feel the walls are cracking, I feel the timber groan. In a house that's made of chemicals and a generation's bone. My mind chamber where the shadows are habitually worn. Every dream is a document of a coming cold decline, an anatomy of terror in a perfectly straight line. The shimmering of the lamp is a judgment on the wall, tracing out the features of an irreversible fall. I give myself the calafrios, I give myself the sting of a spirit that is tethered to a terminal thing. The autopsy of the mind is a ritual of the dark, performed in the absence of a single human spark. My paranoia is the clarity, the only vision right of the abyss that is waiting at the ending of the life. I am the diagnosis, I am the living proof of the madness that is breathing underneath the vaulted roof. Insomnia is a mistress with a cold and heavy hand, leading me through the features of a desolated land. I sought a name for the suffering, I sought a label for the pain, but the echo of my own voice was the only thing to gain. I am Rattalato as a madman by the silence of the room, as the ink begins to settle on the parchment of the doom. The abyss isn't calling, it is simply there, a mirror made of gravity and a frantic despair. The end of the reason is the beginning of the truth in the mausoleum architecture of my wasted youth. Empedrado in the logic, empedrado in the dread, counting all the syllables of the things I never said. The escurriton is final, the darkness is home, in the constitution of Romero I wore my neurosis like a flower in the coat, a very stylish accessory at the back of a throne. But the salon is empty and the audience is bored with a tragedy that starts very elegant version of an ordinary pain. I am a melodramatic fool in a silk-lined cell, curating the features of my own private hell. The mask of the complaint is the only thing I wear to hide the vulgar vacuum of a totalized despair. I'm neurotic to the bone. I am filthy in the lace, with a boredom that is written on my adoring painted face. I tried to make a masterpiece of the tremors and the shakes, but the world doesn't care for the aesthetic of mistakes. They want the sparkle, they want the easy grin, not the heavy-duty misery that is coiling within. I am a dandy of the doubt, a collector of the sting, searching for the value in a hollowed-out thing. Is it the drugs or the soul that is making me sway in the monotone theater at the